let's be clear. By her own words and actions, Kiera Lewis has shown herself to be a bully who supports bullies, is afraid of accountability, has no humility, and actively panders to white people who are afraid of equality, inclusion, and diversity. That being said, there is no way that this can be the same woman who is nominated for an award, which by its own tagline is to highlight those who champion diversity, inclusion, and equality. Are you for real? Let's get into it. Hello, 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 guys. For those of you who are new here, my name is Shelly. Yes, I love books, and I have been doing a series called 31 Book Reviews in 31 Days, where I give mini reviews on books which I read recently and loved, or, have opinions on, which I have opinions on everything. But on this channel, we also discuss issues in the literary world, in the literary space, and that includes people, that includes awards, that really just includes everything to do with literature. And recently there has been this scandal that I cannot believe I had to witness, and quite frankly, it's one of those that made my blood boil, because everything about this scandal was chaotic. Okay, everything about this was absolutely terrible, and even from a PR perspective, everything was handled terribly from all parties included. Like literally every single person, terrible, terrible, terrible. So let's actually break everything down now. Because I'm still kind of heated, I might, stumble here and there, and my points might be disjointed. So please extend some grace to me as I really just try to take you through everything and really try to say it in a concise manner, okay? As those who have been with me for a while know, you guys know that I can get very passionate. As you see here, I speak with my hands quite a lot, but doesn't matter. I have cute nails, which I do need to redo very soon. But yeah, just stick with me, stick with me. And of course, if you want more of these commentaries, do be sure to subscribe, because believe me, they're always up and coming. Now, back to the issue at hand. Kier Lewis. Now, if you've been on booktok, if you've been in the booktok space, then you've heard this name before. If you really are on booktok like very infrequently, and you don't partake in any of the mess, or you ignore it as soon as it comes on your feed, then you might not know. But you might also be someone who is following Kier Lewis, and you're just like, wait a minute, what's going on here? Wow. Just for those people, I want to give you a bit of context so you don't think I'm really just throwing shots at someone for no absolute reason. No, 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 no. Kierra Lewis is a problematic, I was going to say problematic book talker, but I'm pretty sure TikTok is not the only platform that she is on. So I'm just going to say a problematic individual in the book space. Okay. And to even wrap this up as quickly as possible before giving more context to this specific situation, let me just say now, Kierra Lewis is the person who literally sexually harassed the hockey players from the Kraken's team, and then when she was being held accountable for it, tried to play the victim card, and then her mindless puppets, that we should call fans, went in cyberbullied the wife after the wife tried to set boundaries. Like, yeah, that's a bit of, some of her recent scandals. Now, if you want to find out about that, there are quite a few commentaries, quite a few videos. I even spoke about it in one of my videos before about why booktok can be problematic. Because this entire situation got booktok on the news, as in there were articles on articles on articles. This amazingly safe space, which we know as a booktok, where we can share our opinions and get book recommendations and hear book reviews, got on the news for being messy. Not for just being messy, for being full of people who harass. Oh, goodness. So much going on. But yeah, for this specific situation, let me give you guys, a bit of insight on what's happened. So basically, this organization, the AAMBC, I always have to be careful because I always switch the two letters, so it might be CB, but I'm pretty sure it's AAMBC. I'm going to put their page here so you guys know who I'm talking about. They had their awards, or they have their awards coming up. It's coming up later on this year in the summer. And they have obviously like a lot of categories. Now, one thing that the AAMBC is about is literally, it is for diverse authors. It is for celebrating and highlighting diverse, like Black authors. And so obviously all the categories are, Black people. So before anyone starts to say, oh, this is no. This is an award to specifically highlight and celebrate diversity. Yeah. And so they have a lot of categories that a regular award ceremony would have, best fiction, best children's fiction, best YA. They have all these categories. But because it's an organization and these awards are specifically about, championing diversity, they do have a category that is activist of the year. So activist of the year. And the tagline for this specific award is, if I can remember correctly, I obviously am paraphrasing, it is this award is to highlight and to really just celebrate like a social media personality or an activist who actively champions diversity, inclusion, and equality. So obviously they release their nominees. They're just like, these are the nominees for this year's, Literary Activist of the Year award. Now, we had some amazing people on there. And to everyone's surprise, Kierra Lewis was on that list. And this is where all hell broke loose. All hell broke loose because you had people like Michael on there. You had people like Alyssa on there who, these people make it their job to ensure that people are picking up amazing, diverse books. And then you had Kier Lewis next to these people. Now, you guys might be saying, why are you picking on her? Let me tell you why. Kier Lewis is not an activist for diverse literature. She is not someone who is championing diversity, equality, and inclusion in any way, shape, or form. Like, I am dead serious. She is the last person. I kid you not. You could be a person who reads one book a year and you probably do more than her when it comes to actively championing diversity. And this is not me actually nitpicking or anything. I kid you not. Kier Lewis, and I know that activist, that term in itself can be loosely defined because some people, don't classify themselves as activists. They don't classify themselves as, oh, this is something that I do regularly. I'm not an active activist. Some people just share diverse books but don't claim to be an activist, and that's fine. Kier Lewis doesn't read diversely. she doesn't read diverse books. So it could be the case that she doesn't define herself as an activist. That's one thing, but she does not champion diversity at all. And I kid you not, she has been called out several times as a Black reader who has a huge platform, who can be doing more to obviously support the diverse authors and diverse books. And time again, she's made it clear, I have no interest in championing diversity. She's like, I'm going to read what I want to read. Now, I know that this point right here is where a lot of people take issue. They're just like, you know what? I just want to read for fun. And you know what? I'm not, just avoiding Black books. I'm not avoiding Black books. So you know what? It's not that I'm being racist or anything. And you know what? I have said this before and I will say it again. You know what? Just because you are not avoiding reading Black books or books by diverse authors in general, that does not mean that you are supporting either, okay? Knowing that there is such a blatant bias against BIPOC authors or BIPOC people in the literature industry, and this is a very, very well-known bias, which is why there are so many initiatives to try and combat this. Even the literature industry has acknowledged that there is a bias within it. So knowing, and we all know this, that there is a blatant bias against BIPOC people in the industry, if you are not actively supporting them, then you are part of the problem, okay? If you're not actively supporting them, you're not part of the problem. So just because you are not actively avoiding them, that does not equate to support. Okay, so she can be reading to just have fun right then and there. The fact that she's not actively doing anything, she shouldn't be in this category. I mean, even the word activist, immediately in your mind, you should equate that to, oh, You are actively doing something, okay? No, you are very much staying silent. And what's really funny about that is, you know what? That's fine, you know? You don't have to be an activist. I mean, you probably should, but you don't have to be. But why were you in that category, okay? Why were you in that category? And then what's really funny about Kier Lewis is that it's one thing to not actively, choose to support Black authors and authors of different ethnicities like Asian authors, South Asian, Latinos. It's one thing to not actively support them. Yeah. It's one thing to really just never read them. I really question people who never read diverse books. Like never, never. And then you will turn around and say, well, they just never come up, I just never see them. Or, and I'm just like, so once again, does that not show you the blatant bias against, books by diverse people, diverse authors? Does that not show you that? And then some people might turn around and use their most, one of their very, very famous excuses. You know what? I don't read them because I can't relate to them. And I always find that super, super, like it's mind grating. It's like it's boggling because, okay, you don't read books by diverse authors because you can't relate to the stories, right? And I find that hilarious because I'm just like, diverse people, people from, that have like BIPOC backgrounds who have been reading books that really just center one race, who have grown up reading that. So what you're saying is that you have recognized that, it's great to actually see yourself in literature or in different forms of media, but you do not care that we, that us on this side, that BIPOC people, that we don't see any. Yeah. And just that whole argument about I can't relate. Are you well? Are you okay? Because, Black people, Asian people, Latino people, we've been reading these books that only have white people for ages, like literally for centuries, because for the longest time, it's really just been white people. But we've been fine, we've been completely okay. And if you truly don't see color, then why does it matter that the character is Black or that the author is Black? All of the arguments that you guys keep pulling up, it really just, they never match up, They always contradict each other, or they really kind of just show your blatant bias. And it's really, really funny to me. So quite frankly, the whole argument against reading diversely, not even for people who want to be activists and really kind of like just champion that, but just people who read in general and don't read diversely, I'm just like, your bias is showing. And for some of you guys, it's not even bias. Some of you guys are really blatant with your racism, and it's really hilarious, okay? So that's one point. And Kierra really falls into that. It's just really funny. Like, she genuinely does not read any books by like diverse authors. She reads like one a year when she's called out, or for Black History Month or something like that, and that's it. And then she has definitely come out before to really just shout at people, calling her out for her lack of diversity, and it's always really funny. But let's actually come to this specific awards, because this situation was hilarious. Because Kierra Lewis, that's one problem at a time, and we're going to come back to her after we actually review the award, because there's so many things going on with that one. The award ceremony, they nominate them, and obviously people were upset. They said, we support the others because we have seen their work. We have seen that they actually do actively champion diversity, inclusion, and equality. Why is she there? So people started calling them out, just like, why have you nominated her? Why have you nominated her? Rightly so, because if this is what your award stands for, then she does not fit the bill. So people started calling them out, rightfully so. And that's where you saw all the BookTok videos, and I loved it. And I was just catching up like recently, which is why I'm just here now, because this happened early April. And this is where it started to get a bit messy. Because what they did, they basically put out a statement, and the statement essentially said, you know what, we've seen all of your comments, we've heard what you've had to say, but basically we don't care. But I'm gonna put the statement up to, so that you guys can actually read it. Because basically what they said is that, you know what, if you guys disagree with the people who we have nominated, then it is up to you to make sure that you vote for someone who you actually think deserves to win. It is the burden of, the burden of actually winning is on you. The burden of, the right person winning is on you, instead of the burden of actually choosing someone who deserves the award being on them. They ignored that part. They're just like, we're just going to have this be a one-sided burden. And obviously people were not having it, and people were not having it not even just for Kier Lewis, but then they also nominated a publisher for publisher of the award who there is an active boycott against. And so people are just like, what's going on? Like, who was in charge of creating these nominations? And this is where it really got messy. So I'm going to go to what the award show did, and then we're going to go back to what Kierra Lewis did, which will back why I believe that she is a bully who supports bullies. I mean, we've seen that with the whole Kraken thing, but we're going to see even more. But basically, the AAMBC, what they did after that debacle, obviously the community wasn't having it, because we've called you out, we've brought your attention to something which we believe is wrong. Not even we believe it's wrong, it is wrong. And you basically said, not my problem. I mean, this is your circus, so this is definitely your monkey. This is your problem. But they're just like, you guys have to sort it. People didn't respond well. There's even one of the nominees who, she made a whole statement, and I love her, and I've interacted with her before, and she's absolutely so lovely. Her page is absolutely amazing. I'm gonna put her page up so you guys can definitely support. And she made a statement. She's just like, you know what, this nomination is sweet. And I'm honored. Like I said, she's a lovely person, so she will, very great statement. She's just like, I'm honored, but I am going to reject this nomination because this award clearly does not align with my belief and where I stand. And she mentions what they have done. She mentions how, they've nominated a publisher who doesn't, want to act on the boycott that's been that's happened because of their previous actions or the actions of their employee. And she mentioned that they've nominated a person for, the same category that she's in, activist of the year, a person who literally does not at all champion diversity, does not even believe in diversity, and has time and time again shows that she's kind of against the community, because she's literally like blocked so many TikTokers, some people who haven't even interacted with her, just people who literally are actively championing diversity, she's blocked. And that's so funny to me. Once again, problematic behavior. And so stated, I'm not accepting this nomination. And if you go on AAMBC's page now, if you look at the nominations for that category, Kierra Lewis is no longer on it, and SMP is no longer on it as well. The publisher, they're no longer on it. And even the statement that they released, where they were just like, the burden of voting is on you, that's gone. Which is why the screenshot I showed you guys, the screenshot I have here, is with like a screenshot of someone speaking on it on TikTok, because it's nowhere to be found. The nomination on X, formerly known as Twitter, nowhere to be found. All of these things, nowhere to be found. They've backtracked so much, and they're really going to pretend like, we don't remember. Obviously, right now, I can't find those things. But you know what? The internet is forever, and someone already screenshotted it. Hopefully, like, you guys read most of it. You guys can see most of what is said in their fake, statement. Their fake, it's not even an apology. It's an acknowledgement, and that is it. It's an acknowledgement. And they've backtracked. And I find that so funny, because when they had put out their statement, when they decided to be loud and wrong and strong, they were deleting comments. They were hiding comments of people calling them out. But now that even someone who they nominated said, I'm out. And now that they keep getting hit with fire, they're just like, please. This is not what we were trying to do. Once again, this brings me back to the Hugo Awards. And I spoke on the Hugo Awards and the consequences of what they did to the authors will have on them. And this is the same thing with AAMBC. There are consequences, because now what you've shown is not only do you not have proper processes in place to choose who you nominate, because quite frankly, if you had proper processes, someone would have called out that these two were not the ones to be nominated. This publisher and this book talker was not the one to be nominated. So it's clear that you guys do not have proper processes in place to choose who you nominate. But beyond that, you genuinely do not respect the cause that you say that you are for, because you champion diversity, right? And then you choose a publisher and a book talker who have shown that they are against these causes. And when you are called out on it, instead of accountability, you really just stand your ground. You stand your ground without acknowledging that you were wrong. And the only reason that these posts have come down is because of the backlash that you received. And you know how we know this? Because there hasn't been an apology. There hasn't been a follow-up post that said, we have reviewed everything and we have changed our mind and we just know that this is wrong. So we have removed her from being a nomination and we have removed the publisher from being a nomination. No. You've deleted or hidden the post. You've changed the nominations, and you are hoping that people have forgotten, that people didn't see. We've already seen. So instead of you to come out and put on your big boy pants or your big girl pants and actually say that we were wrong, and like I said, with situations like this, that would have been respected way more. We would have respected you if you said, you know what, after long, hard nights of thinking through everything that has been said, everything that we have seen, we have come to the conclusion that this is not right. And so we have made the decision to withdraw her nomination. We have made the decision to withdraw this publisher from nomination. We would have respected that. But no, you're trying to play hide and seek. And you know what? This is the internet. So seek and we shall find. We found. Okay? This is how I found your previous statement, your previous nomination. Like, please, who do you think you're fooling? And so it's just actually so wild to me that once again, organizations try to play us for fools. Because I don't know who you think is stupid, but like, please. It's definitely not us. It's definitely not us. But here they are, just going about their award ceremony business anyway, anyhow. And before I continue, I definitely have to disclose this, because I'm just like, you guys know I'm all about transparency and all that. I actually received an invite from the AAMBC before this debacle came out. Now, I am terrible. Like, I am absolutely terrible when it comes to responding to everything. You guys know me. I'm terrible with comments, emails. I'm absolutely terrible. I'm really trying to get better. Honestly, I'm really trying. But yeah, so I got an email. They're just inviting me. I actually got two emails. One just inviting me, and another inviting me to be an ambassador and all that. And when I got it, this was before I found out about all that was happening. I responded, and I told them, "Oh, this sounds like an amazing event. I love what you guys are doing, but where is this located specifically? Because I'm in the UK, and I wanted to know if you guys have anything in place in terms of like travel." Never got a response, so I'm just like, okay. You either broke or you don't see it. Who knows? But anyway, it's so funny to me that I received that, and then like days later, I'm finding out that these people are a part of chaos. So I'm really happy. I'm really happy for me, like personally, because like imagine I had accepted like right before all this chaos, right before at least I found out about the chaos. Y'all would have heard way more from me. But believe me, that email, obviously you didn't respond anyway, but if they responded, it would have been a back and forth with like, I've changed my mind, you people are not right, goodbye. Please. And one thing I actually really, really despise with this whole situation on the AAMBC's part is the fact that, like I said, it doesn't seem like they had proper processes for who they nominated. It seemed more so like they looked for follower count, because like I said, Kier Lewis has a huge following. She has a huge platform. And so I know that anyone who's trying to sell a book, any organization that's trying to get like, hype, or that's trying to get attention, will definitely look for people who have like a good following, or, good interaction, good engagement. And she definitely has that on her page. It seems like they found a Black creator with a huge following, and they're just like, this will definitely hype up our organization. It will definitely put our award ceremony on the map. And you know what, it did, just not for the right reasons. Okay, because see where you are now. You're having to change your nominations. You're really just having to do all of this because you didn't do your due diligence and pick someone who actually champions diversity. And your following count is great, but I'm just like, you are an organization that's about championing diversity and really just nominating people who have a heart for your mission. But do you even have a heart for your mission? The founder of the AAMCB, AAMBC, sorry, she was an activist. Her, the whole start of this organization was because, she was a young Black woman who saw everything that was going on and saw that, what, I want to create a space which highlights and supports and uplifts people from my community who aren't just getting what they deserve. And then I don't know how much she is still a part of the processes, of the day-to-day running of the organization and the award ceremony. But if you are, then have you lost touch with what the initial mission was meant to be? Or is this more like, once again, another case where someone just latches on to a movement just to make a name for themselves without actually having the heart of the movement in question? Because the people who they nominated were amazing authors and different areas and stuff like that. And the people who they nominated for literary activists, bar Kier Lewis, are actually amazing activists, guys. Like, they're absolutely amazing people doing amazing things in the space of BIPOC authors and championing diversity. They're really amazing people. So I'm just like, you had great people, that's for sure. But the fact that you added her makes me question, do you actually have your own mission statement in mind? And is that really something that's near and dear to your heart? If this is something that you're going to do, if you're going to sacrifice the integrity of your actual mission, your actual organization, just for some numbers? Because that's what it looks like, and it's scary. And in that sense, then you and Kier Lewis are great for each other, because let's be real, that's what Kier Lewis does. That's literally what she does. Like, Kier Lewis really just panders to those who she knows she's going to get high views and high numbers, which will allow her to make money from. It's simple as, like, it's not something that we have to go back and forth. We've seen it time and time again. She panders to the majority of the industry, which are white people. And even if she knows that, well, there are marginalized communities and marginalized people, my people as well, because she is a Black woman, she don't care. She don't give a damn. She's like, yeah, I'm trying to make coins, because she charges what, like $5,000 for a review or something like that. And she's been caught out, I think, before, like, not actually reading the book that she was reviewing, but she had still charged them for that review. And that is so funny to me. Like, absolutely hilarious. Like, it just, from her actions, it just kind of, it's shown that what really matters to her, while I'm not doubting that she enjoys reading or not, because you see her, her reviews of the books that she reads with the people. But for a lot of time, I'm just like, this is a money game to you. This is a money game to you. Like, with me, there are a lot of times where I'm not posting reviews because I haven't read a book, and I'm just like, I'd rather not make content and not make money from content if I'm not reading. I'm just like, I'm gonna stick with my integrity. It is what it is. Like, there's no reason for me to sacrifice my integrity. There's none. But it doesn't seem like she cares about that at all, and it's really just, it's so annoying. And it's so annoying that this was brought into an organization that, before this entire situation, was really doing great things for the community. So it's really, really sad. But as we are back on Kier Lewis, let me give you guys the aftermath of, her nomination from her perspective, the aftermath of the drama from what happened with her. Because we saw, like, I've discussed that, with the AAMBC, like, they put out their statement and then they backtracked, and now they're pretending as if nothing happened. But what about Kierra? She was nominated. What's with the drama there? She was just nominated, right? No. Because at the end of the day, she was nominated. People didn't like it because she didn't deserve the nomination. Yeah, she didn't deserve the nomination. So as people were calling out AAMBC for, why they nominated her and stuff like that, people, obviously, if your name is the one being mentioned, technically you are part of this situation. So people weren't like people weren't like calling out Kierra Lewis. They weren't saying, oh, they were just saying, yeah, we don't believe that this is the right person, but they weren't like going on a tangent and actually like doubling down. I've decided to double down because you guys need context. And literally, because of her actions post this nomination, everything I said needs to be said. But basically, as people were saying that, she now comes out. But let me actually, before I say about what she did, as like all this debacle was happening, obviously people were like pulling out, like, I'm not involved and stuff like that. And even the nominees, they were just like, we did not know that we were nominated. Okay, so I'm so happy for this nomination, but we did not know we were nominated. So in the same vein, you know, Kierra Lewis could have just popped out, right? She could have just said, okay, I didn't know I was nominated. I'm not trying to be a part of this, so leave me out of this. Because as someone who knows they do not champion diversity, you know, you yourself, like Kierra, you know that you do not champion diversity, you know, you really should have respectfully bowed out. You know, if you had any ounce of humility, you really would have just said, personally, I don't believe that I have to champion diversity. That's your opinion. Like, obviously, that's a whole discussion for another day. You could say that you don't believe in champion diversity and you don't care for champion diversity. You know, that's your opinion. And you could have just said that, personally, I don't champion diversity all like that. So I didn't know about this nomination. It's not that I accepted it or anything. My name was just put out there. Easy as, you know? It could have just been a simple, I didn't know. My name was in here, but I'm not trying to be involved. Keep me out of this. That was it. No. Kierra Lewis, she came on TikTok with fire, with a force, and she said, you know what? You people are really just jealous of my following, my numbers. You people are just mad because you don't got it like me. You people are just mad that you don't got the numbers like me, that you're not as successful as I am. All she had to say was, I wasn't aware. I'm not trying to be in mess. Leave me out of this. That's all she had to say, right? No, 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 no. She said, I'm going to be prideful. She said, first of all, you know what? Whether or not I qualify for it or not, y'all is mad. First of all, no one is mad. For the people who were calling out the AAMBC for their choice in nominating Kierra, these are people who actively champion diversity, who read diverse books, or who really just bring attention to the problems in the literature industry when it comes to diversity, you know? These people know what they're talking about, you know? So when they were talking about, sis, this is definitely not your circus, you know? So you as a monkey shouldn't be here. When they were saying that, they had a right to say it, because these are people who literally know the space, who know the atmosphere, and who knows who deserves to be nominated, right? But Miss Fang over there, she saw it as a personal attack on her, and she decided that this is the perfect time for me to show my numbers. Babes, no one cares about your followers. Let me tell you now, because your followers are people who have the same mindset as you, okay? Who do not believe that diversity and inclusion and equity and equality is something that is necessary in the literary world. You are literally pandering to those people, which is why they love you. The people on the community who are championing diversity, we don't want those people on our page. Like, we actively and literally consistently tell them, if those are your beliefs, this is not your space. Get off our page. I have said it several times. Those who don't care about diversity, just know that this page is a page that champions diversity and that speaks about diverse books and diverse authors all the time. If you don't like it and if you don't support it, get off my page. I could care less about losing followings. I do not give a damn. Like, be gone. So what makes you think that the people who are calling you out gave a heck about your followers, gave a heck about your numbers? And see, this is what I mean when I say, in her head, all she cares about is, you know, numbers. It's a numbers game for her. All she cares about is like making coins, because truly there are people with like 10 followers who will champion diversity. They don't care about how many people are following them. They just care that the word is being put out there, that a good book is being advertised, that a good book is getting the recognition it deserves. She don't care. I don't even care. I don't think she even cares about the books that she actively reads. She is just caring that she gets the engagement, gets the numbers, and in turn gets the check. And this is why we're just like, you don't go here, which is why you shouldn't have been included in that nomination. You don't go here. Because at the end of the day, Kierra Lewis is literally that black token friend that gets killed off in so many of these white books. It's literally true. That is what she is. She just panders to white people who could care less about diversity. And she's going to keep doing it. And I'm just like, you know what? If you have accepted your calling as the black token friend, I hope you do know that in most of those books that you're reading, you're going to get killed off soon. And I'm not saying that in terms of like a violence thing. I just mean that the one day that she slips up, and we have seen it time and time again with the black token friends, with the black token influencers. The minute you slip up, the minute they've decided that they're done with you, you're going to be disposed of, and you're going to be easily disposed of because all you were was a token. And so when you have now decided to turn your back on your community and on people who actually need your platform, sis, you have made your bed, lie in it. Your bed is now very, very successful, and that's great for you. But do not think for a second that the people on this side of the street give a heck about what you're doing, give a heck about your followers, your count. You people, listen, we don't care about you like that. We don't care about you like that. The only time you come up is when you are embroiled in a scandal, which recently has been a lot, sis, and that just shows how problematic you are. So, babes, when she did that, I was over here like, is she well? Like, what makes her think we care? Like, after the whole Kraken thing, where she was crack my back sexually harassing those people and sending her goons to go and harass the wife. I kid you not, when I tell you, after I made the video speaking about her, and after everyone else made the video speaking about her, her name never came up again. Never, because we don't care about you. We don't give a heck. But you are out here thinking that we are spending all of our time thinking about, oh my goodness, how much more followers Kier Lewis has than us. Oh my goodness, we're gonna die. Babes, please, we do not care. Truly do not care. Like, even this video now, part of me, when I was deciding to make this video, I was just like, should I just speak about the AAMBC and leave her out of it? Like, I'm just like, ain't nobody trying to talk about this girl. But I said, you know what? There are so many people who still have not seen the problematic side of her. You just come across her videos every now and then when they come on your FYP, and you think that she's just a girl who's very, very passionate about the books that she reads. There might be some truth to that. But she's problematic, she's very, very problematic, and she's a bully. I mean, she went out here bullying that hockey player's wife, and now she's trying to bully the booktokers who really weren't calling her out, but more so calling out the AAMBC, sorry. I mean, I know that she has been called out before, but after people recognized that she was not trying to understand their point of view, people gave up on her. People weren't trying with her. So it's just, I really wasn't gonna speak on it, but I'm just like, let's just get it over and done with. Because like I said, after the scandal that happens, you not gonna be mentioned. Like, we not gonna give a heck. We don't care. I mean, you can continue to pander to your people, and we will continue to read great books and not care about you. Easy as. And before anyone says anything, I really do have to make sure that people understand this. Something about diversity confuses a lot of people, and it gets me every time. When we champion diverse books, championing books by diverse authors from diverse backgrounds, when we champion those books, we are not saying that these are the only books that we're reading. We are not saying that these are the only books that you should read. We are not saying that these books are better in any way, shape, or form. We are really not saying that. We are saying that there are more than one type of book in the world. There are more than one type of person in the world. And literature literature, as it implies, or as it has told us before, literature is this space that, reflects the world, is it not? So if it reflects the world, why is it not reflecting the different types of people in the world? There are amazing books written by amazing people that give you insight into amazing cultures and amazing worlds, different languages and different foods. You get to books. When you read books, it's escapism for a lot of people. And I don't understand how people don't want to experience something new. I mean, a lot of the worlds that we read are fictional, but a lot of them take inspiration from the real world. And so, why don't you want to experience different aspects of the world? The world is, a little salad. It's different flavors coming together to make this delicious food that you can indulge in and enjoy. So indulge in every part of it. Enjoy. I know, like, as kids, we were picky eaters, but when our palates became more refined, we understood that those peas and tomatoes that we didn't like actually taste absolutely delicious and were actually very nutritious. Same with the world. These cultures that, as you were younger or less educated, you didn't understand, or might have even been fearful of, as you grow older and realize that these differences are unique and beautiful and great to experience, you realize that this is an amazing thing to be a part of. And that's where diversifying literature comes in. We want people to experience different things. We want people to experience different cultures, different foods, different sights through books. We want people to appreciate it as well. Because even through reading books, you get to even appreciate the real world. I think it offers so much to so many people. And just because we are championing that does not mean we are now trying to exclude others. We're not trying to exclude white people. Like, if you look in my library, and even like the books that I give reviews on, it is a mix. I give you, books by diverse authors, yes, but I also give you books by white authors. I'm not saying that you don't read white authors. I'm saying that white authors have always gotten the attention they deserve. Diverse authors have not. It has been shown, it has been proven that there is a bias against those who are not white. And so championing diversity is just giving the extra push so that everyone actually does get equal treatment. Everyone actually does get a fair shot. If you read a book by a diverse author and you don't like it, that's fine. But say you don't like it because you didn't like the trope that was used, you didn't like the plot, the storytelling was weak, the character was unlikable. Say you didn't like it because of that, but to say you didn't like it because you couldn't relate to a black character, you couldn't relate to a Latino character, you couldn't relate to a South Asian character, that is poor. That is absolutely poor. It's terrible. Because you don't hear me saying that I don't like a book because I couldn't relate to the white girl with blonde hair and blue eyes. That's the book that I've been reading for time. And I know I've told people I started late when I started reading, but it didn't mean I didn't read. I did read when I was a kid. The books that I was reading had blonde hair, blue eyed kids, or brunette, suave hair and blue eyes, white skin. You'd never really heard about my type of skin, but I enjoyed the books because they were good. And when I didn't enjoy a book, it wasn't just because the authors were white or the characters were white. It was just because the story sucked. Easy as. So I think people really need to get their heads around this part of diversity and stop trying to say that we are now being exclusionary or discriminatory against white people by doing this. No, we are giving people who never had a shot alongside their white counterparts. That's it. And so when people cannot see this or refuse to see it, it obviously leads to frustration. And when you are like really just actively against doing it, it leads to even anger, because it doesn't take much to actively support a marginalized community. It doesn't take much. No, you are not actively ignoring it, but once again, by not actively supporting, you are actively choosing to be ignorant. So believe me, you are not on the right side when you do it. So AAMBC, just like with the Hugo Awards, I don't know where this is going to leave you, because this was not a good look. And the North remembers. We remember. We don't forget. Just because you erased tweets and hidden some of your past Instagram posts does not mean that we forgot. Nah, there's evidence, and we haven't forgotten a thing at all. Kierra Lewis, baby girl, do you just be aware that you've made your bed, and that's all that's going to be said about it. And so for now, my dears, that's all I have to say about this situation. Like I said earlier on, I knew that I was probably going back and forth, but I really did try to lay out my points as like as organized as I could. And I really did try to be concise, but I am seeing now, as I am looking at this recording, that I have probably failed. But every point is a very necessary point that I made. So you know what? I have no regrets. So I'm hoping that this was informative for those of you who weren't aware what was going on. I'm hoping, as usual, that you love my dramatics. And of course, for those of you who haven't, or this is your first video, I'm hoping you stay to the end and you enjoyed. Until next time, be sure to like, comment, share so that everyone knows what's going on. And of course, subscribe, because you guys are always coming back to these videos, so why not be part of the community and turn on your little bell so that you know every time a video comes up. Until next time, guys, I will see you soon.